The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
There we go. So last Tuesday morning, I was at our honeymoon men's Bible study breakfast. It's a group of guys. We meet at the Honeymoon Grill down on Manchester Road. And we get together, and each guy shares his inspirations and insights to the readings for the Sunday that is coming up. Whatever their best verse is, the challenges. And then there was this one guy in our group, I won't name him today, but he says, oh, now I know where they get tithing from. You know, it's that last line in the first reading. And I says, Doug, if this comes up in my homily, it's your fault. So that first reading, the king or the priest Melchizedek offered a sacrifice of bread and wine to God for Abraham and then blessed him. And then it says, then Abraham gave him a tenth of everything. Oh, Deacon, that's not what we do now, is it? That's the Old Testament, right? And I say, well, what did Jesus say? Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. Also in a reading on Friday, it says, where your treasure is, there will be your heart also. So we do need to consider about how we spend our treasure, our time, our talent, and our money. And it is a direct reflection of what is important to us in life. So we should prayerfully consider this. So I don't know, maybe this is my financial homily for you, Father. Raise some more money. I did give up some of my time treasure yesterday. I want to just do a shout out to our buildings and grounds crew. We were out yesterday morning weeding and cleaning and beautifying the yards, and all I can say is if I don't get up from when I genuflect, you know why. It was a wonderful to be there. I did want to mention another effort that's going on right now is that some of our parishioners are going through archives that we have. We even have a professional archivist, Joy, on our team to assist, and we have a number of parishioners, Bob Meeker and Jim Schwartz, who help get some things together. And Mike Dane, I want you to come on up. I'm going to need your help, our lector here. But there was one thing that we found, a treasure that we found, and it is the discovery of a Centennial Chalice. It was made for the 100th anniversary of our parish in 1937, and I was struck by the beauty and craftsmanship put into this vessel, and I want you to hear about it and show you it. Mike, you can go.
The Centennial Chalice, dateline December 11th, 1937. The Centennial Chalice, used at the Centennial Mass for the first time, was consecrated by Bishop McFadden just before the Mass. It is made from gifts of old gold to which special sentiment is attached, and many of the contributions are heirlooms that have been kept carefully for St. Vincent families for generations. The pastor is leading the list of donors himself with a gold cross presented to him by his sisters when he was ordained into the priesthood, and a gold watch that was given to the Reverend T.M. Mahoney, an uncle of Father Scullin, in 1880 when he went to Cleveland as pastor of St. Patrick's. The cover of this watch with the inscription presented to Reverend T.M. Mahoney by the Congregation of St. Vincent de Paul's Church, Akron, Ohio, July 23, 1880, is inserted in the base of the chalice as also are the names of the 13 pastors of the first 100 years engraved there. Gold coins, cufflinks, hat pins, umbrella handles, a gold thimble that was in one family for generations, wedding rings, crosses, watch chains, watch cases, bracelets, spoons, pins, and numerous other articles are used in the chalice, the gifts of scores of people. 17 diamonds contributed have been used on the chalice, and the chalice bears the name of the 13 pastors who have served at St. Vincent de Paul's. Admiring this golden cup of love, the thought comes of the deep satisfaction each one must feel in the knowledge that sacred keepsakes are there to be used only for the honor and glory of God. A beautiful ciborium in memory of this great day was also made from the gold and decorated with diamonds donated by our good people.
Thank you, Mike. The people of St. Vincent's gave thanks to God by sharing their very personal treasures, small things of great value, to create the vessels for the very body and blood of Jesus, the Eucharist that was the center of their lives as it is the center of our lives. Okay, Deacon, now we're getting to what this day is about. Corpus Christi, the most holy body and blood of Christ. Now, I already talked about the first reading where the priest Melchizedek offered simple gift of bread and wine. It's the same thing that Jesus does, and it's the same thing we do here at this Mass. Then our second reading tells us plainly, St. Paul tells us plainly what this is all about. That Jesus is offering a sacrifice of his own body and blood. For real. It's a new covenant, he says, in my blood. There were earlier covenants. Abraham, the Israelites at Passover had the blood of the lamb sprinkled on the doorpost. And now Jesus. When we describe the Mass that we celebrate today, we also speak of the holy sacrifice of the Mass. At this altar, we do have a sacrifice, and it is the same sacrifice that occurred one time of Jesus on the cross for us. It's kind of like you have to get trans-dimensional or travel time. It's this God thing where we are at the same event of Calvary every time we're here at Mass. It's not simply a recall or retelling of the story. The word remembrance that we use, do this in remembrance of me, is a very specific Jewish word that means to make present the reality of what is happening. They did this at Passover when they say, I was one of these people that traveled through the Red Sea. And Jesus is instructing his disciples, and for us here and now, to do it in this way. We make present the reality of Jesus' sacrifice of his body and blood. Now, when I went to the gospel, I thought, well, maybe our readings are a little bit out of order because we have Jesus doing this ministry and then the explanation of the Eucharist. But maybe not so. In our gospel, after a long day of ministry, probably being very worn out, the disciples are encouraging Jesus to send them away. But Jesus puts it back onto them. Feed them. The disciples, I could just imagine them looking at one another, a little bit confused, maybe even thinking, is he joking? But they respond with the very little that they had. You just have 5 loaves and 2 fish. 5 loaves and 2 fish. God works with small things. It might be all that we have, like the widow's 2 coins. Maybe all that we have is our feelings of inadequacy. But God uses small things. Jesus did not have a mega church. He had 12 uneducated disciples and their families and some other people that followed him kind of ragtag through some backcountry place. He spoke of sower and seed. And the smallest of seeds, that mustard seed, that when grown becomes the largest of shrubs to give food and shelter. That same mustard seed, if we only had the faith the size of a mustard seed, we could move mountains. God works in small things. Jesus came into the world in a manger. Immediately had to flee as a refugee. He grew up to become a laborer. And when he came into Jerusalem at the end of his ministry, he did not come on some mighty horse, but came in on a donkey. And later that week, suffered a humiliating death on the cross. Jesus worked through small things. And of all the miracles he did, he took simple bread and wine and gave us everything of himself. This is how God works. This is Jesus meeting us where we are at. And yes, back to tithing. Jesus asks more. He asks us for everything, for all, our treasure. But he has so much more to give us in return. And we will share in this gift today, Jesus himself present in his body and blood. But then when we receive this, we are then asked to feed others. We may not know how, but we trust God to meet us in the small things. That is how God works. Today we have much to celebrate. We recount the faith of those that have gone before us, especially in their love centered on the Eucharist. And we can celebrate all that we have received: our life, healing, relationships, family, but most especially that Jesus himself comes to us in bread and wine, which becomes his body and blood. And as we go forth from Mass, we must trust God to use us, to work through us, the small things, to share that love with the whole world.